Hey guys, Haxer Tech here for another video, and today I'm going to be doing another nasal spray review. I mentioned in my previous video that I had one more I was going to do, so today we're reviewing that second option. This is the Luca V Defense nasal spray. So I'll show you what the box looks like. I've already taken it out of the package here, so you can see I've taken the top off, but just wanted you to see what it looks like. The front of the box, you'll see it here on the Amazon listing in a moment. So this is what the box looks like, and you can see this is a nasal spray to prevent respiratory viral infections. Just on the back, you've got instructions, and then this is what the actual product looks like. So just like the other nasal spray that I reviewed, the Profi nasal spray, it's similar. You just remove the cap here, and you would insert this into your nostril, and you'll spray this into each nostril to protect. So I'm going to just kind of go over some comparisons and give my experience with this. The link will be in the description for this particular product. But again, I really like these products. That's why I wanted to do a review for them, because I think these are really great options. And I just, quite honestly, don't see enough videos promoting these kinds of nasal sprays and what they can actually do. So again, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but just want to give my overall experience and talk a little bit about the product and what it's meant to do. So if we go on to the Amazon listing here, fortunately, this is a product that outside of the recent holidays, there were some unavailability issues, but it's back up on Amazon and it's only $18. And again, what's really good to compare here is how much you're able to get in terms of sprays out of these different products. So this is a 20 milliliter vial that you're getting. And I've found that this lasts a pretty good amount of time. Again, the other spray that I reviewed that we'll compare it to here, Profi, I'll jump to that really quick. This one, it gives 8 hours of protection, and you get 90 sprays here. Whereas this spray, it's going to give you a smaller duration of protection, 5 to 6 hours, but you're going to get more sprays out of it. So you can see here, if I scroll down, this is going to give you approximately 200 sprays. So that is more than double the amount from what you're going to get from Profi. So there's kind of two things to consider there. If you're looking for something that's going to potentially last a little bit longer, Profi does have the marketing claim for 8 hours of protection, but with the spray, it's in that range of 6 hours. Now, I'll just kind of give my experience again. What I really like about this spray is it does last a long time. I really have gotten, very likely I haven't counted the 200 sprays out of it, but it definitely lasts longer than any of the other sprays that I've actually used. The actual smell is much more pleasant than most of the other sprays that I've used. It has a menthol smell, so it has a little bit more of a scent than some of the sprays, but it's a very pleasant scent. So it really just smells like something that you're using to kind of clean your nasal passage. So I really like the scent of this particular spray, but I've also done the most testing with this spray, and so I can give the most solid review of what it's been like using the spray. I have used this at a very crowded conference. I've used this at family get-togethers and gatherings, and I've been around the most very obviously sick people with this particular spray, and I have yet to become sick with this particular spray. So I definitely have really good experience with this product, and we'll just kind of go through some of the images here and I'll talk about it. So the first thing here is when it comes to ingredients. I had mentioned in the Profi review that there's really three most common types of sprays that I've found, maybe a fourth, but the ones I usually see is something using carrageenan, which is what this spray uses. There are some sprays that use povidone iodine, which I'll talk about one of those options that I've seen out there. There's a third one, there's nitric oxide, like in something called Enovid. But those are the most common ones, and then Profi, of course, is using natural ingredients. It uses pectin and it uses gelin. So this one is using carrageenan specifically. It's this, there's a few different types of carrageenan, but this uses the lambda carrageenan here. And what I think is really the positive to that, that's one of the aspects of protection from this particular spray. Carrageenan has been studied quite a bit, and there have been many different kinds of studies. But actually what I think is most interesting about this particular spray is that the company has actually done tests in Thailand. They were able to get a validated test result that this actually does protect the nasal membranes. So of all of the different companies I've seen that have done tests, the Luca V Defense nasal spray has quite a bit of positive evidence in favor of its actual use. So you can see here that it uses carrageenan. It also has SPAN 20 is one of the other ingredients, and that actually creates the coating in your nasal membrane to protect against viruses from latching onto the membranes in your nose. That is effectively how you get infected and become sick, whether it's with COVID, a cold, or any other pathogen. Then you can see at the bottom there, they've got menthol and eucalyptol, which are more of the fragrances that also can help to clear your nasal passageways. But what's really important to consider here is, again, just like I mentioned in my other video, keep in mind that these sprays are meant to be used as a proactive measure. If you're going to an environment like a restaurant, for example, where you cannot wear a mask for the full duration of the period that you're maybe there, then these are really great additional precautions that you can take to protect yourself from getting sick. You simply depress the lever for the spray into each nostril, and it's going to create that protective barrier. It's creating both a layer of protection against viruses, but it's also creating, in this case with carrageenan, that is the component that's going to actually be antiviral and kill any viruses that go into the nasal cavity. So some of the things that they market here, just to kind of talk through some of these things here again, it can ease congestion, soothes and moisturizes the nasal passage, prevents common colds, and this is a Korean product. It's made in South Korea. It's got an FDA certification in Korea, and those third-party lab tests that I mentioned are really important because it's very actually difficult in the United States to get lab tests completed. So what I think actually was to the favor of this product is that in Korea, they were able to get some tests done that here in the US, I don't see very many products, especially with Profi, for example. There's a lot of challenges in getting those tests done. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just very difficult to get those tests certified. Whereas these have actually been lab tested and have those results. You can see that there's a variety of uses here for this product. You can use it when you're traveling to prevent infection, but it also is generally creating that barrier even against things like allergens. So it can protect against, if you're someone who has really bad allergies, it can help with that. There's a number of different uses here. And then I also like that they have this description here, or this kind of image that shows you how it works. It creates that layer of protection over the nasal mucosa, which is going to basically prevent pathogens, things like viruses, from being able to latch on and infect you. So again, the things that I really like about this product, I've done extensive testing with this and just using this for, it's actually been about, at this point, I think in April, it's currently December, was when I started using this product. So I'm approaching, in just a few more months, it'll have been a year or so of using this product. So I would say it's probably around the 8-ish month range, somewhere in that window. So I've been using this for quite some time, and this has been the sole protection in situations where I cannot wear a mask. So again, conferences, medical facilities, all those different places I've used this, and there have been at least 5 occasions where I've been around someone very visibly sick, and fortunately I have not become sick since using this product. Now, I'll actually compare this to some other products, because again, for $18, I think this is a very good value, especially for the amount of sprays that you get. And personally, even though this is only 5 to 6 hours of protection versus 8 from a product like Profi, because I know I've used this product for so long, I do feel very confident in using it, that it is significantly reducing my chances of becoming sick. It's very affordable for how long it lasts, and there are 0 side effects. I also noticed that the spray here is less thick than others. I've used a variety of other different solutions. Profi is a little bit of a thicker solution, so you feel it a little bit more in your nasal cavity, at least initially. This one, it's a much lighter product, and I have absolutely no side effects or anything like that from using this spray. So a couple things I'll compare it to. There's another product that I actually was using for quite some time before using this particular product. There's a product called Cofix RX or Cofix RX. This is a spray that I want to mention because you'll find this in a lot of different locations. This is actually available in some local pharmacies for me, at least here in the US, and I found it on Amazon and a number of different places. Now this one is about $25. It's very in line with Profi in terms of pricing. But what I actually found with this particular spray that was a little bit of a negative is that while it does market a specific number of uses, I'd have to look through to see if I can find out how many sprays you're actually meant to get out of this product. But honestly, I'm not worried about finding that number because I can just say that in using this, I didn't get a lot of sprays out of it. There was actually some cases where I used this particular spray and it felt like I got closer to like 20 or so uses out of it at most before I ran out. The amount in here is limited. So you can actually see in terms of milliliters, this is 10 milliliters, whereas you're getting here 20 milliliters. So it's technically twice the amount, but I'm certainly not getting twice the amount of sprays out of the Luca V Defense. I'm getting significantly more because it's 200 sprays. This one, I'm not getting anywhere near 100 sprays, which is what you would think you'd get based off the milliliter count. It's just nowhere near that. So this spray was decent. It uses povidone iodine, but because of, number one, the amount of sprays I was getting out of it, it can become very costly. And number two, it had just expired when I had used it. After going into one particular location, my family got sick, even using this particular spray. So that's just to show that you can still get sick even using this. We're super cautious when you use these sprays. We use it before exposure. We spray it multiple times. We follow all of the instructions. But I did have a vial of this that had expired, and it had only expired about a month or so ago. But it was also starting to run a little bit low, and so I got sick after using this. I have not been sick after using the Luca V Defense spray, and I do think it is just a much better value. Plus, the testing is significantly more in terms of them having like very well done tests that prove the efficacy of the product. And again, those are different chemicals that are being used. Povidone iodine is what's used in something like Cofix RX, whereas here we're using carrageenan, and carrageenan is one of the more studied components in different products that are meant to offer this protection. Profi, again, uses those natural products like, or chemicals like pectin and gellan, so it's a little bit of a different technique. Then you've got things like Sanitize, which, or Enovid, which uses nitric oxide. And this I have found is a product that more instantly will clear the sinuses of any kind of infectious pathogens, but the duration of how long it actually proactively protects is a little bit more difficult to prove. I like the products like Luca V Defense, which offer a specific period of time where it's actually protecting your nasal cavity. Now, there's a few more that I'll mention. There's betadine, which I have used as a additional post being exposed to, for example, someone who is maybe sick after using something like Luca V Defense. Then I've purchased this product. I've used it. It's a good after spray. But actually, what's very interesting about this is it uses carrageenan, which is effectively just the branded name of the carrageenan that's used here. Now, I think it is a different type of carrageenan, but it doesn't have the same span 20 product that's in here, which is creating that protective barrier. So this has the carrageenan portion, which is going to be antiviral. It can kill viruses in the nasal cavity. I think why products like Luca V Defense are a little bit more effective, and why I think those studies are very useful to consider, is because this is creating both that barrier as well as providing that layer of carrageenan to additionally kill anything that remains in the nasal cavity. So things like betadine are used to proactively protect yourself by some people who know of the product, but it's not marketed as such because it lacks kind of that product that's going to create that protective barrier. So something to consider. If I'm trying to protect myself for an extended period of time, I'd rather use a product like V Defense that's going to give that protective barrier, or even something like Profi in some cases. But again, this video is primarily about Luca V Defense, just because that's what I have the most experience with, and kind of giving my comparison to the other products that I've used. Now, there's one other product that I want to compare the Luca V Defense product to, which is Tafix. And I'm kind of going over all of the ones that in my experience that I've used. You can certainly research these and let me know what you've kind of thought if you've ever used any of these products. Tafix is a really interesting one. This is from an Israeli company, and it is a nasal powder, so it's completely different from Luca V Defense. Now, their particular product, because it's a powder, it's very different. You get this little bottle that you just simply depress it, and it'll puff almost like a powdery cloud into your nose. And you inhale, and that's going to be protecting your nasal cavity for, in this case, 5 hours. So Luca's V Defense, they market for a little bit longer, but it's 5 hours of protection for Tafix. They actually have a rating of 97% effective against viruses. I like this product for a few reasons. I think that some of the tests they did where they actually had some people in Israel go into a very, very crowded location. There was a religious event happening, and many people were there, and there were some people that had used this product that did not get sick. Yep, I'm almost done. So I think the fact that they actually did that study, which again was not a specific scientific test, but I think it's very interesting to see that as some kind of anecdotal evidence that it does work. Now, my only sort of complaint with this product when I use it, because I actually did use this, I used it in combination with a mask in one of the conferences that I went to. Actually, this was a few years ago. But the biggest challenge I had with this product is that because it is powder-based, there are some negatives to that. With it being powder-based, number one, you have to make sure that you kind of shake the bottle properly, otherwise it comes out very chunky. And if it comes out chunky, then it can make your nose feel like it is clogged. When you do use it properly, I found that it does have a good number of sprays in there, so it can last a reasonable amount of time. But the reason that I don't use this as my primary product, probably the most important reason, is just because if you have a younger child, number one, the most important reason that this is not the product that I use regularly is because it was just too difficult to properly get a spray out of there. It was too unreliable for me, at least, because sometimes I would be able to get a good spray, but sometimes I would try to get a puff out of it and it would just blow a little bit of air out. So it was just very difficult to get it perfect. I think that's just the nature of it being a powder-based spray. I find with the liquid-based sprays like Luca V Defense and most of the other ones, it's more easy and more reliable to get a good spray into the nose and to be able to confirm and feel that you've properly applied it. So it's definitely a good option, but also the other aspect to this particular product that makes it a very big challenge to widely use, specifically depending on your location, is here in the US, it's not available almost anywhere. I had to get it off of eBay, but it's not available on Amazon. It's not available on an easily accessible website where you can just ship it in the US. So you kind of have to go through a lot of hoops to get this particular product. And that's true for a lot of these different sprays that are out there. Which is what, again, brings me back to this particular product, the Luca V Defense product. I think it's a fantastic balance of fair price at only $18 for how long it actually lasts. You can use it for a significant amount of time to help increase your protection against getting sick. And you can see again that this is actually even recognized as a medical device by the KFDA. So because this is made in Korea, again, they have a lot of certifications that you cannot get with other products. So this is a really, really great option. And it's quite honestly not super well known here in the US. It's got about 94 ratings here on Amazon, but I don't know anyone else personally that here in the US is using this product. So that's one of the reasons I really wanted to make this video, is to just talk about something that doesn't have really good visibility, but this is a really fantastic option. You know, again, even if none of these products can guarantee with 100% certainty that it's going to prevent you from getting sick, if you're in a situation where otherwise you don't have an option, you can't, take another precaution, it's certainly good to get vaccinated and make sure that you're doing everything you can to reduce your chances. But there's always going to be different kinds of pathogens out there that can cause infection. And I think this is an awesome option to use as an additional proactive layer of defense. So let me know what you guys think about this particular product. If you've used it, if you're interested in trying it, if you have any questions, leave those questions in the comments below and I'm happy to answer them. I will leave, again, a link to this product in the description. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching.